Recently on my channel, I had a video about quiet quitting explode pretty big on YouTube's algorithm. Now this video was essentially me talking about some of the economic issues that the youth face, talking about, different employers and different issues in a lot of workplaces that the youth, specifically Gen Z, is seeing. And in this video, I really kind of dished it out and talked about all of our problems, all of our issues that we're facing as the youth in the modern day workplace, the modern day economy. And a recurring comment that I kept getting is that this is a result of late stage capitalism. So I kind of looked into it a little bit, and there's actually a huge Reddit thread talking about late stage capitalism. Now, I haven't really dug into this too much. I kind of just took a glance at it, but today we're actually going to dig into that and maybe let's see what some of the arguments are that these guys are talking about. Is it all just a bunch of BS, or is there some validity to this page? I like the imagery already. The imagery is not the least bit frightening. All right, here's a post that looks like it has some kind of merit to it. It says, at some point we have to recognize that the financial anxiety young people are living through is not normal. Monetizing all of your hobbies is not normal. Hustle culture is not normal. Glorifying precarious work is not normal. Self-optimization is not normal. Now, to be honest with you, I don't even just want to say the West, but in the United States, the young people, we do have a lot of financial anxiety, right? Like it's almost impossible for us to afford houses in our 20s, right? Even our 30s. They're having troubles affording homes, that their parents had at younger ages. I think that the financial anxiety is a real thing, right? We're just getting paid less and less, it seems like, compared to the cost of living. But as far as a lot of the other stuff, I think hustle culture actually is of a certain benefit to the individual. I think unfortunately we have forces like the Federal Reserve that are really kind of counting on us to go as hard as possible so that they can extract the wealth of the working class. But nonetheless, I think that hustle culture can be of a benefit to the individual. Like, the fact of the matter is, our system seems to be pretty broken right now, where even if you hustle your heart out in your 20s, you may never own a house, right? And that is messed up. That's a problem with our system. But I don't think that we should demonize all of hustle culture. If you're doing it for you, if you're somebody that's, going in the gym, you're lifting weights, if you're somebody that's working hard on something that you're passionate about, or you do want to monetize your hobby so that you can make it a full-time career, more power to you. Somebody's got Ben Shapiro on here, I guess, watching the Barbie movie. My producers dragged me to see Barbie, and it was one of the most woke movies I have ever seen. My full review of this flaming garbage heap of a film will be out on my YouTube channel tomorrow. Like, okay, bro. And this one is somebody responding to, I guess, an Instagram. Oh, this is Valuetainment. They tried to scratch it out down here, but this is Valuetainment, Patrick Bet-David and them, right? It says, rare late-stage capitalism win for the proletariat. And then the article says, remote workers responsible for $800 billion corporate real estate collapse. And then Valuetainment actually posts, corporate workers who are either too afraid or lazy to go to the office are having a significant impact on the economy, and not in a positive way. A new study by the McKinsey Global Institute says that work from home, pajama patrol, will be responsible for wiping out $800 billion worth of value in office buildings by 2030. Look, I'm just gonna say, dude, you can't just say that people are lazy for not wanting to go into an office, right? Like, the fact of the matter is, this is one of those switches in an economy, right? And if you're truly a capitalist, right, I gotta use this against you here, you should be able to adjust and make, changes quickly. If all of your competitors are using a work from home force, right, and they're able to reduce a huge amount of their costs, maybe on a building, let's say, and you're seeing a lot of real estate in that commercial sector tank, hey, maybe you should use that as an advantage to your business. That's what capitalism is about, right? Survival of the fittest, using these different advantages. Why would you be mad that certain businesses are realizing that they can let people work from home, right? The fact of the matter is, like, you're saying that the people are lazy, but if that's an option, like, you can't blame people for wanting to work from home, right? You have to look at the companies that are doing this. And a lot of companies, I'm willing to bet, are probably looking at this like, yo, this is a competitive advantage. If I don't need to pay all this rent for all this real estate, all this property for people to come work in. I think that's a dumb tweet from Valuetainment. This one's just a cute little one, I guess. This says, my fortune cookie had an advertisement in it. Have you guys seen that with fortune cookies lately? Because I definitely have. And I kind of had the same thought. Is like, yo, is nothing sacred? Like, if we can't even have freaking fortune cookies with just fortunes and some lottery numbers or whatever, like, then nothing's sacred, right? If everything is turning into advertising space, then, like, I guess that is the definition of late stage capitalism, right? I'm with you guys here. Let's leave the fortune cookies out of it. We got one about UPS here. It says, victory. UPS drivers are finally getting air conditioning. Amid heavy pressure from the Teamsters Union, the delivery giant said its trucks will be equipped with AC to help drivers beat potentially deadly heat on their routes. More proof that unions work. heartwarming dystopian story. Yo, so a little bit of backstory on this. The Teamsters Union had the vast majority of workers, or drivers rather, for UPS ready to go on strike if they couldn't get AC. And UPS was trying really hard not to, I guess, pay for AC or pay raises or whatever the other demands were. And I heard this, I was watching the Meet Kevin video. He talks about how much money UPS lost during their last strike back in the 90s.
In 1997, UPS basically stopped being able to deliver packages for 15 days. It cost the company in 1997 almost $850 billion. The crazy thing is now, UPS is probably even more vulnerable.
UPS does not want these guys on strike. They don't want to hear about losing billions, right? That's when it gets serious for these guys. This one says, bank, you can borrow $600K to buy a house if you want. Me, wow, that's so much money. I'll literally never be able to pay that back. Bank, it's okay, we don't expect you to. Me, wow, how does that even work? Bank, nobody knows. Me, smiling. It's kind of the same thing with student loans, right? Dude, student loans are no joke. The difference with student loans too is there's no declaring bankruptcy with student loans. They're gonna garnish your wages for the rest of your life. Dude, the youth has it bad with debt and nobody wants to talk about it, but the Federal Reserve and fractional reserve banking, over time, the analogy that I kind of like to use is it's like a Monopoly game, right? It's like, if we start a Monopoly game at the same time, you and me, maybe we stand like an even chance and everybody can get some property, we're having a great time, right? Imagine that I'm playing a game with somebody else and you come and join my Monopoly game 5 hours in, okay? I've already got the blue properties, the green properties, the expensive side of the board is mine, right? It's like, well, you come in and you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll start with this $500 or whatever the game gives you, $1,000. And every time I pass go, I'll get 200. Well, if I don't have any properties on the blue and the green sides of the board yet, you might be able to get around the board a couple times, $200, right? But what I like to say is the Federal Reserve at this point in time is essentially like saying all these people that have money, we're actually gonna speed it up. We're gonna speed up the pace that you're running through the board, and we're gonna start to put up houses and hotels. So it's like where you joined the game late, you were already at a disadvantage, and I'm just trying to speed it up so that I can get you out of here faster than possible. I've now got properties on the wealthy side of the board, and you're $200 for pass and go. That's just not gonna mean anything once I'm throwing up, hotels on Boardwalk. And if I'm just trying to speed up the game, I'm just extracting your wealth until you have no wealth left. And in my opinion, that's probably one of the more simplistic ways to kind of look at what the Federal Reserve is doing with fractional reserve banking. It's like the haves, the people with, these wealth creating assets or assets already have access to so much more debt. And when these loans default, who do they pass that on to, right? Who has to bail them out? Taxpayers, right? Like it's the working class that has to bail these guys out for their bad loans. Look at 2008. I would really like to know what these companies are paying to get advertising slots on a Reddit that's all about absolutely just hating advertisers and corporations. That's wild. This one says right to peaceful demonstrations. It's a guy on a horse, and it's the entire country coming for this guy on a horse, I guess. There are examples throughout U.S. history of people just trying to do their own libertarian things, on ranches in the middle of nowhere, and the government getting really involved and potentially killing them and their families. Government in general is not your friend, neither are these corporations, but it's one of those unfortunate things where it's like we need corporations, we need government, and we just got to make sure that we're working together to keep them in line. This one is someone catering a wedding with McDonald's. McDonald's is now doing wedding catering. If you're catering McDonald's at your wedding, I'm not showing up. I'm sorry, we're done. If you don't like a company, just don't buy from them. This is essentially talking about how capitalism has this myth of like choice and competition and stuff. And I actually agree with these guys in the subreddit to a degree. It's like competition in capitalism is not as robust as it maybe used to be, because you see a lot of these really powerful giants buying up more and more and more stuff, right? It's the name of the game, is you're trying to be a monopoly. When I get to a point that I own my own house, hopefully some land and all that, I really do want to have my own garden and supplement at least half of my food, my family's food, naturally out of a garden, because yeah, dude, this is just ripe for issues down the road, right? It's like, what are they putting in our food? What happens if these companies royally mess up and they're not built for any kind of economic downturn and stuff? Is the government going to bail them out? Can a government bail out this many food companies that have this much control of things? Like, that's one thing I want to get to on this channel, is talking about farming and, really like sourcing your food responsibly.